Mountain air is so refreshing! It makes Paimon feel like she could float around all day and never get tired!
Cream! Gummies! Fuel fruit!
Huh? Did you hear that?
Sunshine! Blue skies! Good vibes!
Right? So Paimon wasn't just hearing things. That voice sounds really familiar. Well, we've got the time. Why don't we go check it out?
Well, if it isn't my dear partners. See, I told you that something good was going to happen during our travels today. I have to say, sometimes the Steambird's astrology column is spot on.
It's just your lucky day.
Are you guys also here to catch the festivities? Oh, and that reminds me. Happy Lantern Rite!
Happy Lantern Rite.
Happy Lantern Rite to you too! Wait, if you're here for Lantern Rite, then what are you doing on top of this deserted mountain? And that voice we heard, that was you, right, Navia?
Oh, impressive. You could tell it was me from that far away. You've got good ears.
That or your voice is just really loud.
Well, of course it is. After all, I'm a boss.
Indeed. I suppose it's an asset.
Sure is! Having a loud voice is a handy tool when it comes to communication. Wait. That wasn't even Paimon's point. Paimon just wants to know why you two were shouting from the top of this deserted mountain. There was something about almonds, maybe? And buell fruit? Ooh, is it some sort of secret code?
No, it's not a code. The words are meaningless.
Perhaps, but the act of shouting was very meaningful indeed. That's just what mountain climbers do, right? After all the hard work it takes to make it to the top, as you stand on the summit looking out at the vast scenery, it's not easy to resist the urge to release those emotions. Exactly. You get me, partner. I was afraid that it would cause a disturbance, so I asked the locals around here, and they said it was fine. Apparently most hikers like to shout when they get to the top, so the locals are used to it by now. So, you see, it's not just me. I guess everyone shouts from the top of a mountain at some point in their life.
Speak for yourself.
When you're stressed, don't you ever just get the urge to do something for no reason?
Not really. If I ever get stressed, I just go hunting.
Oh, that's a pretty good way to relieve stress.
What I choose to hunt depends on my mood.
Huh?
Anyway, why don't you two give it a try? Shout anything you want.
As long as Paimon has clothes on her back and food in her belly, Paimon doesn't think there's any stress that needs relieving.
Oh, I bet you guys are just too embarrassed to let loose. No need to be shy. Even Farina was shouting from the top of this mountain earlier.
Huh? Did Paimon hear that right? Farina's also here? In Chaoying Village?
Believe in your ears. It is indeed as you heard. Actually, the reason we climbed this mountain in the first place was also because we heard the sound of shouting.
Yes, we could just about make out someone yelling things like, "Help me!" and "What should I do?" So we hurried up here to check it out. And what do you know? Miss Farina was standing right there, all red in the face. She practically sprinted back down the mountain the minute she saw us.
Ah, that reminds me. I believe what she actually said was, "So help me, I will figure out what I should do about this script."
So, you could actually hear what she was saying? Why didn't you say so earlier? I thought someone was really in trouble.
I figured we would come check out the situation either way. Why not let her keep some privacy?
Oh, seems like you caught Farina in the middle of some stress relief as well. She probably would have never thought... No, she definitely would have never thought she would run into anyone she knew all the way out here.
I think so. We ran into Nervalet on the way here as well, but he was already on his way back, so they probably weren't together.
What? Nervalet was here too? What was he doing here? It couldn't have been for vacation.
I think it just might have been, actually. But apparently he only stayed for half a day before heading back. He's a very busy man.
Neuvillette is not the type to take much time off. Taking even a half day for himself is already a huge step in the right direction.
Didn't Charlotte publish an article on the Liyue tea industry recently? Maybe he was inspired to come buy some tea after reading that article. You know, just like you were.
My situation is completely different. I'm here because I was asked to accompany you. The tea purchase is simply an added bonus of this location.
You Fontanians and your tea drinking.
Oh, it's not for me. I lost a bet with Ridesley, and now I have to buy him something. It was just a spur-of-the-moment sort of bet. Ridesley gets really invested in that sort of thing, but he couldn't care less about what he wins in the end. You could give him mint plants that you plucked from the side of the road, and he wouldn't even mind.
If only he was that easygoing when it came to talking business. In any case, I'm pretty sure the tea you bought is this region's specialty. What is it called again? Nervalet even mentioned it earlier. Yes, that's the one.
You didn't really buy 10 boxes, did you?
Please, do I look like someone who would fall for that sort of marketing trap?
That reminds me. You guys said you only came up here because you heard my voice, right? I hope it didn't put you out. You must have had other plans for the day.
Oh, that's right. Who tell? A few days ago, we heard that a friend was going to be in Chaoying Village, so we decided to come and see if we could run into her.
Oh dear. We've been chatting for quite some time. I'm sorry for keeping you. That's good.
We should probably head out and look for Hu Tao.
No need to stay on our account. We just got up here, so we're gonna stay around for a little longer.
Go and meet your friend. We can meet up in Chaoying Village later.
Sounds good. We're gonna head down the mountain then. See you later!
What do I have to do to get you to yell from the top of this mountain? Name your price.
You really want to hear it that bad, huh?
I'm just curious is all. I have a feeling you'll say something amazing.
I will pass. I prefer to let actions speak louder than words.
Chaoying Village is known for its tea, but you know what else they have with tea? Didn't Gaming say something about dim sum being eaten in the morning? Oh, Paimon wonders if we can still get some at this time of day. Oh, well that's fine. fun, too. Paimon doesn't care what kind of tea it is, as long as it comes with some tasty snacks. Now, let's see what kind of yummy things we can find around here. Paimon's not seeing things, is she? Is that Farina standing between Zhongli and Hu Tao? Wonder what they're talking about. Zhongli knows a lot of stuff. Maybe he's telling Farina about Chaoying Village. Oh, or maybe Hu Tao is trying to rope Farina into being one of her clients. Hey, this isn't the Fortress of Meropide. But Paimon could be convinced for the right price. Let's say loser buys the winner 3 huge bowls of seafood kanji. Since Zhongli is there, Paimon bets things are pretty tame. It's decided then. Paimon votes for tour guide Zhongli. Alright, no time to waste. Let's go see who's right. Good afternoon, Hu Tao, Zhongli, and Farina! Oh, great. Now Paimon's shouting too.
Oh, well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes? Seems like our luck just keeps on growing.
That we were able to meet you both without prior arrangement must mean that this is quite the serendipitous meeting indeed.
Huh? Oh, so both of you are acquainted with the Traveler and Paimon then? I'm pretty sure you didn't learn that one from me. I must admit, I'm a bit surprised to see you here, Traveler. But seeing as you're a hero who's been all over to that, it makes sense that you would be well-traveled and well-connected. Since we have found ourselves in each other's company within this fertile land, allow me to take this opportunity to wish you a happy Lantern Rite.
It appears you have been to Fontaine, then. Given your proclivity to spread good deeds wherever you go, it's no surprise that you would make the acquaintance of a celebrity as illustrious and celebrated as Miss Farina.
That's quite high praise. What I mean to say is, you flatter me, Mr. Zhongli. Although I've built up a certain following within Fontaine, it is no reflection of strength or wisdom. I stand before you right now as nothing more than an ordinary traveler in search of beautiful scenery and creative inspiration. There is definitely more to Mr. Zhongli than meets the eye. I could tell as much from our conversation earlier. Given his breadth of knowledge on both academic and worldly matters, there's no way he hasn't heard about what happened in Fontaine. Is he just feigning ignorance for my benefit?
No. You're no common tourist. I simply won't have you talk about yourself that way.
Oh, does that mean Hu Tao also knows?
You may not have heard, friends, but...
Miss Hu Tao...
Miss Farina is now one of my esteemed clients.
Okay, you win. Guess Paimon will have to break into the hidden stash at the bottom of her shoe.
Huh? What's this about winning something?
Don't tell me. You two were placing bets on us.
Nuh-uh! We just saw you guys standing on the side of the road and couldn't help but take guesses as to what you were talking about.
Oh, I see. That means you, my friend, must have guessed that I was trying to promote my business to Miss Farina. That I do, my friend. What was Paimon's guess then?
Paimon thought Zhongli was showing the newbie around.
By newbie, you mean me, right?
If that's the case, then Paimon's guess was also correct.
Oh, that's right. Mr. Zhongli was telling me about some great sightseeing spots in the area.
Ha! You see? Paimon was right too! Since both of our guesses were right, there can't be a winner or a loser. Hey, don't be upset, Traveler. How about this? You buy Paimon a bowl, and Paimon will also buy you a bowl. As for the third bowl...
Since I was the subject of the bet, perhaps it should go to me? You know, as a congratulations for the huge deal I just struck. I was just joking. Anyway, I should be the one treating you. The funeral parlor is about to bring in quite the sum after all.
Oh, Paimon almost forgot to ask about the most important question. Did, something happen recently, Farina?
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, you know, with you enlisting the services of Wangsheng Funeral Parlor and all.
Oh, well, yes.
Really? Oh no, Paimon is so sorry for your loss. Although Paimon may have not known the person, please accept Paimon's
Whoa, it's not like that, Paimon.
Huh? But Paimon just thought, since you hired the services of a funeral parlor and all... Hey, it's not that big of a stretch.
Really, Paimon? It's not like you don't know me. Do I look like I know anyone who would ask me to coordinate their funeral? Miss Hu Tao is simply helping prepare some props for my film. Not too long ago, I read a collection of horror stories from Liyue. The content was spectacular. In fact, I still feel the need to sleep with the light on even now. Anyway, that's not the point. Now that Fontaine's biggest star has returned to the stage, I figured it's about time the industry enjoyed a breath of fresh air. Hey, that's pretty good. I'll have to remember that for my ad posters.
Oh, Paimon sees. That makes a lot of sense. So, did you come to Liyue just to enlist the services of Wangsheng Funeral Parlor?
Well, not exactly. My original plan was to just relax and enjoy the sights. But then I ran into Miss Hu Tao and Mr. Zhongli, and well, you know the rest.
It was a fated meeting indeed.
Zhongli sure loves his lofty turns of phrase. But if you ask me, it's all thanks to that man who stopped to ask for directions.
Oh? Who was it?
It's someone you know. Wanna take a guess? What? How did you guess that on your first try?
Very impressive, my friend. Your guessing game is spot on today.
Huh. Paimon never thought Neuvillette would be the type to get lost.
I'm sure he didn't get lost. Even I was able to find my way to this place without any trouble. He was already getting ready to leave by the time I arrived. He just wanted to ask someone about the quickest way to get back to Fontaine.
Yup, that's exactly what he asked. This area is full of mountains and rivers. It's normal to not know the fastest route.
So, were you the one that pointed him in the right direction, Hu Tao?
Of course. I'm also a guide of sorts, you know. So naturally, I also have a great sense of direction. But speaking of your friend...
What about him?
He doesn't get out much, does he? No wonder. He was stiff as a board and way too polite. I would have never guessed he was here on vacation if you hadn't told me.
All in all, he was only here for half a day. I'm pretty sure he's the only one who would consider that to be a vacation.
Oh? This gentleman you speak of must keep a demanding schedule.
I'm sure he does. You didn't see him, but he was dressed like he was about to attend some important meeting. It wasn't anything like what someone would wear on vacation.
Is that so?
Wait, you didn't see him, Zhongli?
Unfortunately, no. At the time, it appeared as if Director Hu and Miss Farina were having quite the productive conversation. I know matters of business can take much discussion, so I decided to fetch some tea for them.
What a shame. That gentleman seemed like a sophisticated sort of guy. I actually think you two would have hit it off.
Is that so? To borrow Miss Farina's turn of phrase, perhaps it just wasn't meant to be.
Well, with the traveler around, I'm sure you'll have a chance to get to know each other at some point.
That's right. He's got more friends than he knows what to do with.
Well, that's certainly true. Oh, that reminds me. If you get the chance, you should try and talk to Nervalette into loosening up a bit. Just tell him the Palais Mermonia isn't going to fall apart if he disappears for a few days. He shouldn't keep himself cooped up all the time. Even clams open their shells to let in fresh water every once in a while, right? If he's really that much of a stickler for protocol, he can fill out a leave of absence request. He'd have to approve it himself since he handles that sort of thing now, but you know what I mean.
Seems like this gentleman is also in charge of something pretty important. Sounds like a pretty uptight sort of guy, all right. In my experience, a leader needs to be able to roll with the punches. That also includes knowing when and what to prioritize. It seems like your friend still has a lot of growing to do.
If I remember correctly, he's already several thousands of years old. You're quite right, Miss Hutao.
Oh? Traveler, Miss Farina. Those two individuals over there appear to recognize you.
Oh, it's Navia and Clorand. Hey, over here!
We saw you all chatting over here, and we're wondering if we could join in.
Please, excuse the interruption.
Oh, so polite. No apologies necessary. Any friend of the Traveler and Miss Farina is a friend of mine. Ah, straight to the point. I like it. It's getting late. If we want to catch a boat back before dark, we should probably get going.
Indeed. Then, Miss Farina,
Oh, yes?
when are you planning to head back? Do you need us to escort you?
Oh, I don't think that will be necessary. I mean, you're not my subordinate anymore. You don't need to look after me.
I didn't mean it that way. It's normal for friends to travel home together if they run into each other on the road.
There are a lot of mountainous roads in this area. I imagine they'll be even harder to navigate after dark. Exactly. Just like in those ghost stories. 8 paths converge in a wood. Beside them an old house is stood. But if you take a closer look, there may be something you mistook. A candle flickers to and fro, yet there's no wind to make it so. What is its secret? What could it mean?
My dear demoiselles, ladies, no, I mean friends, please take me with you.
Of course.
Gotta say, Farina, you are really quite the character. By the way, did I hear you mention that Clorand used to work under you? Then you must have also been a leader at some point.
Well, that's, all in the past now. Besides, being a leader is hard. It wasn't the right job for me. I prefer how things are now. I can come and go as I please, and get to enjoy the sweet taste of freedom.
I see. Well, you've certainly picked an apt place to relax. Chaoying Village is an exemplary choice.
Only the best. And I've learned a lot, too. Thank you so much, Miss Hutao and Mr. Zhongli.
It's fine. You've thanked us more than enough already. The next time you're in this neck of the woods, I'll treat you to some dim sum in the city.
Dim sum. Is that some kind of Liyue term for snacks or desserts?
They are a part of it. It's basically a table full of as much tea, sweets, and good company as you can manage.
Oh, so it's basically a tea party. Sounds great.
Make sure to order the winter melon cake and the lotus flower crisp. They're so sweet and delicious, Paimon knows you'll love them.
Ooh, okay. I'll be looking forward to it then.
Wait, but didn't you guys say you were here on vacation? How come you're all going home empty-handed?
Of course I am. I bought tons of fun things to bring home with me. A kite, a parasol, a little tin frog that jumps, Oh, and a stuffed toy of a mythical beast. Chlorand is the one who didn't buy anything for herself.
So all you're bringing back with you is that tea?
And some tea-flavored hard candies. They're for Sigewinne.
Chlorand isn't much of a shopaholic.
Well, one of us has to practice restraint.
Hey, I'm hardly reckless with my Mora. I'll have you know, all the purchases I made today were well within my budget.
Me? Oh, well, I bought some tea, of course. I just had to try all the varieties recommended in the Steambird. Other than that, just some bits and bobs, you know. A little bit of this, little bit of that. They should all be things I can use, I think.
Now Paimon's even more confused. If you bought that much stuff, where did it all go? Into one of Linny's magic packets?
Oh, actually...
Monsieur Neuvillette took them with him.
Oh, so that's what happened. Wait, what? Why did he take them? He's not hoarding treasure, is he?
That's quite the imagination you've got there, Paimon. Monsieur Neuvillette just saw the amount of bags we had and offered to take them back for us. I felt a bit bad at first, but, I really did have a lot of stuff.
He even offered to deliver my gifts to the Fortress of Maripede for me once he's done with the day's work. Neuvillette is a man of his word. If he says he can do something, then he means it.
See, even Chlorand was happy to take him up on his offer. If even his trusty subordinate agreed, then who was I to refuse?
Wow, he seems like a real gentleman. If only the funeral parlor had an employee as thoughtful, proactive, and responsible as him. Right, Zhongli?
Indeed.
Chlorand said Neuvillette offered to deliver her gifts to Risley. So if we go to the entrance of the Fortress of Maripede, maybe we'll run into Neuvillette. But we don't know exactly when he'll show up.
Oh, that reminds me. A new year of work is about to begin. If there's anything you want to talk about, Zhongli, you know you can come to me. I'm all ears.
Does the director have any concerns?
It just seemed like you were a bit preoccupied today, and much less talkative than usual. He barely said anything other than, "Is that so?" and "Indeed." If you ask me, I'd say you're having a midlife crisis. You're getting to be around that age after all.
Is that so?
Ugh.
I jest. Given its distance from the city, Chaoying Village enjoys a much slower pace of life. Surrounded by such peace and tranquility, I also seem to have developed a proclivity for inactivity. I apologize for making you worry.
I see. What do you think, Traveler? Is this atmosphere putting you in a lazy mood too? Wow, you are getting really good at these kinds of lines.
Indeed.
Well, everyone, make sure that you've got all your belongings with you before we leave. If there's any souvenirs anyone still wants to buy, the time is now.
Reliable as ever, Miss President.
What is that supposed to mean?
Chlorand is right, though. You really are reliable.
It's not what she's saying, it's the way she's saying it.
I will say, I never thought you'd be so easygoing outside of work, Chlorand. The tone of voice you use when you're working doesn't exactly make you seem like the type who enjoys interacting with people.
Well, I try to keep my professional and private life separate. That includes my behavior.
You take care now, Traveler. Paimon. Ah, trying to act cool now, are we? Well, I guess it's not an act for you, is it?
You are indeed quite strong.
It's been great talking to you all. I'm really glad I decided to come to Chaoying Village. Maybe we could go on another trip together sometime?
There's nothing wrong with reaping a reward every now and then. We're way behind schedule. Take flight!
It's Neuvillette! We lucked out!
Oh, it's you. It has been some time since our last meeting. Few people frequent this location. Since I was able to conclude my work early for the day, I thought I might take a walk and avail myself of this area's peace and quiet.
You call this early? Do you always work this late, Neuvillette?
Strictly speaking, that depends on the agenda for the day. I am hardly bereft of time, however, so working late is of little consequence to me.
Really? If you have so much time on your hands, then why did you only go to Chaoying Village for half a day?
First, I should clarify that I was referring to my lifespan, rather than the time at my disposal on any given day. Second, I was unaware you possessed knowledge of my trip to Chaoying Village. I see. Thank you for informing me. Yes, they have been safely delivered.
I have to hand it to Clorant. Just a simple gift delivery, and she has the great and mighty Udex at her beck and call.
I was just passing through. It was merely an act of convenience.
All right. Then I hereby confirm receipt of the goods on behalf of the staff of the Fortress of Meripede.
A verbal receipt of confirmation? Is such a formality really necessary for a small matter such as this?
Guess not. This quantity of tea, though, seems a little excessive for a gift, don't you think? Before you know it, they'll start accusing me of taking bribes.
About that. Much of that is my own excess, I'm afraid.
Oh? Why? What happened?
It was buy 10 boxes, get half off.
Ah, that explains it then. Well, go ahead and leave them to me. I'll get through this stash as fast as I can.
You have my thanks. Oh, there's something else I'd like to give to you.
This is a stone slate, engraved with a symbolic design.
While that is an apt description, it is in actuality a legal codex.
A legal codex, huh?
Before the advent of modern writing utensils, information was recorded on stone slabs such as this. The law was no different.
Okay.
Since ancient times, the scales of justice have symbolized the fairness and impartiality of judiciousness. As a tribute to that sentiment, this slate was designed after a traditional legal codex and engraved with a symbol instead of text. During my travels recently, I chanced upon a roadside stall offering tourists the opportunity to try their hand at the ceramic arts. So I decided to have a go. We joked with Claran some time ago about gifting you a legal codex. So, here you go.
Ah, so that's what this is about.
I did not expect you to remember it as well. In any case, I hope this can be considered as a reasonable attempt to join in on the banter.
It is a very good attempt. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. Even your sense of humor centers around the law. That's an impressive level of commitment. A gift of this significance deserves to be put on display, and I know just the place. Front and center in the fortress's showroom.
Surely there's no need for such a grand gesture.
Just kidding. I don't have anything like a showroom, but we do have a storage room. We can put it next to all the mechanical parts Sijuin has collected.
That sounds good to me.
So that's what you were doing in Qiaoying Village.
Indeed. Of course, while I was there, I also took the opportunity to taste the local spring water. The aftertaste is much purer than what I have delivered to me in Fontaine. It stands to reason that the long-distance transport has a tendency to imbue the water with extraneous emotion. If you want to experience the true flavor, you simply have to go to the source. Perhaps I should organize some time off to do the same elsewhere. Then we are of the same mind. It appears my desire is justified.
If you say so, but you know you don't have to justify a vacation, right? You can just take one. After all, you're hardly bereft of time. You can do whatever you want.
You're quite right. I suppose I suffer not from a lack of opportunity, but rather a lack of inspiration. However, after reading a few articles about Liyue's holiday traditions, the idea popped into my head and made itself quite at home. Seeing as I was free of responsibilities for the morning, I decided to depart at once. Refreshing. My spontaneous outing seemed to inspire quite a few other spontaneous decisions as well. Take, for example, my foray into ceramics. At first, soil from the ground is granular and unforgiving, but add the right amount of water, and it becomes soft, moldable, and able to take shape. In the past, I never thought about how quotidian vessels were crafted. But now, I have participated in their very making. This is also something I made today.
That's a ladle? Paimon thought it was supposed to be some long-necked sea creature.
That was indeed one of my inspirations. Really? You like it? To tell you the truth, given your unexpected arrival, I find myself quite unequipped to give you the welcome you deserve. Around such an important holiday such as this, human custom would dictate that gifts should be in order. But I'm afraid this is all I can offer. If you'll have it, that is. That is precisely why it would do me such a great honor if you accepted. You are most welcome. Happy Lantern Rite. Approve a leave of absence request for myself. That sounds like it could easily lead to a vicious cycle of self-indulgence, something which couldn't be in further violation of protocol. But I suppose I understand her point. My proclivity to refrain from personal outings does, in part, originate from a sense of responsibility toward my duties. But it is also due to a lack of desire to engage in the human world. But now I see that the human world is indeed full of many interesting places to discover. Lantern Rite marks the start of the new year in Liyue. In the spirit of the season, then, I wish you a year of success as vast and endless as the open ocean.
So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time.
求人広告キューブ防除旅館での臨時料理人を1名募集高級高待遇報酬につきましては相談おい見ろよ高級でキューブだってさモラを稼ぐチャンスだぞ確かにそうだなまさか現象に何かあったのかあいつは人が勝手に厨房に入っただけで怒鳴り散らすしな手伝いがいるとは思えないけどあれ続きに何か書いてあるぞ興味のある方は上までお越しいただき支配人のワイアンとお話しくださいだってさなあオイラたちも上に行ってみないか現象のことも気になるだろ
방금 들은 이야기가 모두 사실이야?
지배인님, 그럴 필요 없어요. 고작 손댄 거로는 요리하는 데 지장 없다고요.
당장은 지장 없어도 회복이 더뎌질 거야. 요 며칠은 쉬면서 같이 방법을 생각해보자고.
안녕 지배인 언소도 있었네
응? 여행자랑 페이몬이잖아. 여기까지는 어쩐 일인가?
공고를 보고 언소한테 무슨 일이 생겼는지 물어보러 왔어
제가 그 공고 붙이지 말자고 했잖아요. 너희까지 걱정하게 했네. 별일도 아닌데.
신경 써줘서 고마워. 이봐, 너도 부끄러워하지 말고 얘기나 해보지 그래.
네, 실은 이번 해등절에 손님이 너무 많이 몰리다 보니까 다급해져서 실수로 냄비에 손을 대었지 뭐야. 원숭이도 나무에서 떨어진다잖아. 아무리 훌륭한 요리사도 실수할 때가 있다고. 게다가 이깟 부상쯤은 아무것도 아니야.
무리하지 마. 그러다 덧나면 하루 이틀로 안 낫는다고.
해등절이 끝난 지 얼마 안 돼서 가게에 손님이 많은데 아직 쉴 때는 아니죠. 멀리서 온 손님들도 있는데 대타 요리사가 우리 객잔에 먹칠이라도 한다면 전 무조건 반대예요.
말하는 것 좀 봐라. 대체 누가 지배인인지 모르겠네. 하지만 그 말도 맞긴 해. 언소는 명색이 요리왕 대항전의 최우수 선수인데 대타로 아무나 데려올 순 없지.
으스대는 건 아니지만 저랑 비슷한 수준의 요리사라면 다들 본인 장사하느라 바쁘지 않겠어요? 대타를 찾기란 쉽지 않을 거예요.
아무래도 급여를 더 높여야 하나.
요리를 잘하고 시간도 많은 사람이라. 딱 너잖아!
생각해보니 그랬었지. 그땐 싸움 솜씨만 기억하고 요리 솜씨는 까맣게 잊었지 뭐야.
요리 솜씨는 있고 싸움 솜씨만 기억하다니 객잔 지배인답지 않은걸?
사소한 건 신경 쓰지 마. 암튼 너라면 언소도 마음 놓고 주방을 맡길 수 있을 거야. 그렇지, 언소?
너라면 확실히 다른 사람에게 맡기는 것보단 낫겠지.
그럼 우리가 맡아도 되는 거야?
뱉은 말은 지켜야지. 급여는 두둑하게 챙겨줄게.
미리 말하건대 객잔 요리는 개인 요리와 달라. 적응할 수 있도록 내가 한동안 주방에서 도와줄게.
결국은 마음 놓을 수 없다는 거잖아.
지배인님, 객잔에 여분의 조리도구가 있는 걸로 아는데.
그럼 당장 준비해 올게. 준비 끝. 어서 봐봐. 너를 위해 맞춤 제작했어. 에이, 이 정도 손재주는 별거 아니지. 그럼 언소, 여긴 너희한테 맡길게.
이럴 필요 있나? 그냥 있는 붓도막을 쓰면 안 돼? 다른 사람이 쓰는 게 얼마나 싫었으면.
에이, 그게 아니야. 난 널 믿어. 지배인님이 맡겼으면 의심하지 말라고 하셨거든. 다만 기존 붓두막이 너한텐 좀 높다고 생각했을 뿐이야. 아까 말한 대로 객잔 요리는 개인 요리와 달라. 요리의 색, 맛, 향을 신경 써야 하는 건 물론이고 신속, 정확, 안정까지 챙겨야 하지. 몸에 안 맞는 붓두막에서 하루 종일 요리하면 온몸이 쑤시는 건 물론이고 조리 속도도 느려지게 돼. 그럼 손님들도 기다리다 지친다고. 그래서 요리사는 반드시 사전 준비를 철저히 해야 돼. 이게 바로 신속이야.
그럼 정확이랑 안정은 또 뭔데?
정확이란 고기의 어느 부위부터 자를지, 기름을 얼마나 불지, 재료는 언제 볶아야 할지를 정확히 보는 거야. 집밥을 만들 땐 요리가 싱거우면 소금을 넣고 짜면 물을 넣으면서 상황에 따라 간을 맞추면 되지만 객잔에서는 그럴 시간이 없어.
진짜 망치면 내가 먹어버리지 뭐.
마지막으로 안정이란 아무리 까다로운 요청 사항이라도 안정적으로 만족시켜야 한다는 거야. 특히 각지에서 온 손님들은 입맛이 저마다 다르거든. 손님들의 식습관도 고려해야 할 뿐만 아니라 현지 특색 요리를 맛보고 싶어하는 마음도 헤아려야 하지.
그건 좀 어렵네.
괜찮아. 여행자는 견문이 넓으니까 막상 해보면 나보다 더 잘할 거야. 게다가 나도 한동안 주방에 남아서 도와줄 거니까 모든 손님들이 내 집 같은 편안함을 느낄 수 있을걸.
There's no time to lose, so let's get started. I imagine you probably have a good handle on the cooking side of things already. What you need to pay attention to is remembering each table's order.
Oh, Paimon's memory is like a steel trap! This is gonna be a cinch! Which ticket are we on again? Table 1 was onions, but no chilies. Table 2 was chilies, but no onions. And table 3 was, table 3 was chilies, but hold the chilies? Ah! Was Paimon just sleep floating? We didn't even get a break in the middle. Paimon's brain has turned to mush. Is it always this busy here?
No, but this is peak season. You both did a mighty fine job for your first time serving guests at the inn. Luckily, all our customers were familiar faces this time around, so we didn't get any strange requests. Otherwise, today would have been even more challenging.
No strange request? Someone asked for almond tofu drizzled in soy sauce. Even Paimon has never tried that combination.
It's a wide world out there. People have all kinds of different tastes. Being able to cater to all is the real essence of Liyue cuisine. Also, the thing about requests is that they're usually very specific. So as long as you do what they asked, you're unlikely to have any issues. What's really tricky is when guests give you free rein to do anything you want.
Excuse me. Are you still open by any chance?
Huh? Paimon knows that voice. Let's go check it out!
What should we do? It doesn't look like anyone's here. If only we'd gotten here a bit sooner.
It's all right. If we start building a campfire now, we'll be eating before too long.
Right. Besides, if anyone's to blame, it's Linny. So busy being a greedy culture vulture that he lost track of time.
Paimon? So, is the Traveler here?
Traveler Paimon! What a nice surprise!
Paimon was gonna say the same thing! We're just lending a helping hand at the inn. Anyway, so that's how we ended up here. But what about you guys? Don't tell us. Father sent you on another mission?
No, quite the opposite, actually. We're in Liyue on vacation, and while we're here, I thought a cultural tour might be in order.
Father said we deserve some rest after everything that happened recently. Otherwise, it could jeopardize our next mission.
It's not every day we get this kind of opportunity. Lenny thought it might be fun to spend some time in Liyue, especially since it's Lantern Rite season.
We could hardly pass up the opportunity to watch a Liyue-style magic show. Although, I think they call it conjuring here.
In our time here, we've seen conjuring tricks incorporated into a Liyue opera show, and even a wushu dance. It was amazing.
So, we decided to stay here for a few more days to see what other forms of inspiration this land might have in store for us. We visited Granny Roshin in Chingsa village not long ago, and today we continued our cultural tour in the area around here.
In the end, though, we lost track of time. We haven't even eaten anything yet.
And speaking of eating, as you know, seafood is a big part of both Liyue and Fontaine cuisine, but it's cooked very differently here. We simply had to try some local seafood after coming all this way. That's another reason why we decided to extend our trip.
Oh, need any recommendations? What have you tried so far?
That fish one with the misleading name. Sounds bland, but it's drowning in hot chilies.
Oh, you mean blackback perch soup? You're right, the name doesn't give much away.
It looked and smelled so appetizing that Lynette took a huge mouthful, blissfully unaware that she was about to set her mouth on fire. She could barely speak for the rest of the day after that.
Luckily, that wasn't a huge adjustment for her.
What? Aren't you guys hungry too?
Yes, a little.
Yes, I'm ready to eat. Traveler, I'm afraid we'll have to send you back to the kitchen now. Good question. I doubt we'll be able to decipher the menu, so why don't you recommend something? You should be pretty familiar with our tastes.
One more thing. Please, if you have a heart, don't make it spicy.
Fontaine, huh? No wonder they can't handle too much spice. Still, if we make the food too bland, they might as well be eating back home. There's this crab and shrimp stir-fry I know that could work. It's quite heavily seasoned, but it's a lot milder than it looks. It has a light but really satisfying flavor.
Ooh, that sounds perfect! What's it called?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. They call it the Palace Jewels. The crab roe is supposed to look like pearls of gold, and the shrimp meat like chunks of jade. Here's the recipe. When you're ready, go ahead and give it a try.
Sorry for the wait. This dish is called the Palace Jewels. Enjoy.
Yes. We meant to say, you two must be tired after a long day of work. Do you want to eat with us?
Oh, now that you mention it, Paimon is a little hungry. Well, if you insist, then who are we to refuse? Oh, right, of course. You're still our customers. Why aren't you eating?
The sauce looks a little overpowering.
Oh, a According to Liyue custom, it's probably good table manners to let someone else go first.
Looks delicious, Traveler. I guess I'll dig in first. Here goes.
What is it? Do you need some water?
No. It's delicious. The flavor is so pure. It's drenched in sauce, but somehow it just enhances the natural flavor of the seafood. Try it for yourselves.
All right.
What is that? Crab roe?
Yep, you have quite the palate, Lynette.
No wonder it pairs so well with the shrimp meat. I've never seen it prepared this way before.
According to the creator, chewy crab complements succulent shrimp, making a spectacular seafood ensemble with a succulent flavor and luscious mouthfeel. The crab roe glitters like pearls of gold, and the shrimp shines like chunks of jade. Hence its name, the Palace Jewels.
So that's where the name comes from. I suppose it's quite fitting then.
Was Paimon always this well-spoken?
This dish must be right up your alley, Lynette. Huh?
It's half gone already? When did that happen?
I heard that in Liyue, the biggest compliment you can pay to the chef is to leave a clean plate. It's delicious. Thank you ever so much.
Wait, don't fight over it! Hey, leave some for Paimon!
I think I'm finally getting the hang of chopsticks. Yeah. Well, Linny and Lynette picked it up in no time, but they're naturally dexterous. Unlike me, it's taken me a lot longer, but I'm slowly getting there. Oh, speaking of chopsticks, in one of the shows we've seen here, someone performed a conjuring trick using a bowl and chopsticks. So, if I want to be a good magician's assistant, I need to keep practicing.
Lynette's not usually so forthcoming about what she likes. But this time, well, she's expressed it in more ways than one. I guess you've rubbed off on her too. Or maybe your cooking is simply too delicious to resist. The next time our paths cross in Fontaine, you'll have to fire up your cooking skills for my other siblings as well. How does that sound, oh great master chef? Oh yeah? Well then, I'll have to clear my schedule.
Let me guess where you're from. Calorie surplus detected. Digestion mode engaged. Yeah. Well, Linny and I are usually careful about what we eat, because we have to stay in performance shape. That, plus it's generally bad manners to overindulge at the dinner table. But once in a while, it's nice to treat yourself in the company of family. Besides, if I'd waited until my brothers were finished trying to out-polite each other, the food would have gone cold.
So your friends like the dish, huh? Well done. Not bad at all for your first day on the job. There'll be more to come, so keep it up. morning. The boss tells me that both new and returning customers have nothing but good things to say about you. I have to admit, I was a little worried about throwing you right into the deep end, but it looks like you've got what it takes to handle the day-to-day here. So it should be plain sailing. Well, just as long as we don't run into any extremely picky customers with unreasonably specific requests.
Oh, have you had someone like that before?
Of course! The worst are those old scholars who have barely cooked a day in their life, but think reading a stack of books on the topic makes them the expert. They criticize you for no reason, claiming your cooking method isn't faithful to the original, or that the flavor profile isn't authentic because you used an ingredient that wasn't in their beloved centuries-old version of the recipe.
This is Wang Shuin. It does have the look and feel of a time-honored establishment. Oh, innkeeper! We'll have each of your signature dishes, please, as fast as you can serve them. The most expensive ones.
Farazan! Oops, Madam Farazan.
Oh my! Traveler, Paimon, whatever are you doing here?
We could ask you the same thing. Where'd you suddenly get the funds to go sightseeing? And to order the most expensive things on the menu?
I'm not here to sightsee. Exemplary scholars like myself are highly sought after by cruise operators in need of an onboard consultant as they travel the world.
Madam Farazan, please, slow down. None of us slept last night. How come Madam Farazan still has so much energy? If she's really over 100 years old, I don't understand how she keeps going.
It's all my fault. She's been like this ever since I told her I'd be paying the expenses.
Layla! And Dory? Huh. Never would have bet on this combination.
Temporary chef, huh? Wow. No rest for the wicked. Well, if the chef here is trusting you to run his whole kitchen, then I've got no doubt we're in for some authentic Liyue specialties.
So, why are you all in Liyue again? Something about being an onboard consultant?
I got my hands on a new boat from Fontaine a while ago, equipped with cutting-edge navigation technology. If we manage to spread the word, it could have huge business potential. Right now, we're doing some test runs. We sailed from Port Ormos to Rito, then from Rito to Liyue Harbor. Next, we're planning to go to Dornman Port.
Oh, Madam Farazan and me were hired to fine-tune the compass and other equipment. We sailed around the Sea of Clouds all of last night to put the system through some stress testing.
Overtime for which they'll both be fairly compensated. They're both here willingly. The contract is crystal clear on that.
You really cover all your bases, don't you? Let Paimon guess. Paying the expenses is part of the compensation, isn't it? No wonder Madame Farazan is going for all the most expensive dishes.
It's not every day someone tells you to order whatever you like. Now, first up, we'll have the... Farazan, Madam Farazan, that is. While I am more than happy to treat you both to the most expensive dishes on the menu, we must remember that most expensive does not always mean best. I've heard that the most expensive dishes in Liyue are usually either seafood-based or take an exceptionally long time to prepare. Now, I don't know about you two, but after so many days at sea, I don't think I can so much as look at another piece of seafood again for at least the foreseeable future. Huh. That's actually a good point.
Not to mention that poor Layla here looks like she's about to faint from hunger.
Huh? Oh, that's not because of hunger.
Surely the wise and virtuous Madame Farazan could not bear to watch her poor students sit here and waste away.
Oh, well, of course I care about my students' well-being, but why do I feel like I'm being tricked?
So, let's not order anything that'll take too long to prepare. Aside from that and seafood, we'll take whatever other expensive dishes you have. Over to you, Traveler. No seafood and nothing that takes too long to cook. The rest is up to you.
I had my eye on Adeptus Temptation, bamboo shoot soup, and golden shrimp balls. But I suppose they'll have to wait for the next time. But that could be years from now.
Aw, Madame Farazan looks so deflated all of a sudden. Please still try to choose dishes on the expensive side, okay?
So, expensive, but no seafood, and nothing that takes too long to cook. That rules out pretty much our entire menu.
That Dory! Is she doing this on purpose?
This isn't Lioli Pavilion or Xinhua Kiosk. This is Wangshu Inn. We don't stock up on rare and exotic ingredients. We only get them in if someone puts in a special reservation. Well, if we're stuck with regular ingredients and we're on a time limit, there's only one way to bump up the price. And that's by cooking a dish that uses the chef's expertise and creativity to the fullest. As it happens, I know a recipe for something called trembling strings and rushing reeds. It can be whipped up quickly with what we already have in the kitchen. One plate usually goes for 30,000 mora.
30,000? But if it's quick to make and isn't fancy, what exactly makes it so special?
Quick doesn't have to mean quick and easy. To perfect this dish, you need expert knife work and very precise control over the heat. You have to finely slice several different types of meat into fine threads, knead them together into strips, then gently stir-fry them in the pan. What you end up with is a whole variety of flavors that come through layer by layer. This dish is unique in offering a harmonious blend of multiple kinds of meat, all cooked to perfection, while still bursting with their own distinct flavors. Do it right, and you've got a culinary masterpiece in your hands. But if you botch it, it's just a bunch of meat thrown on a plate.
Oh, Paimon gets it now! So this dish gets its value not from the ingredients, but the chef's expertise!
Now, don't worry. I can take care of the kneading and other prep work for you. You just focus on bringing it all together.
Believe in yourself. You can do this! And if you mess it up, Paimon will still be happy to eat it. Food's ready. Please enjoy.
Ooh, smells delightful. Oh, we meant to ask, have you two eaten breakfast yet? If not, why don't you join us at the table?
Did Dory just offer us a free meal? When did she become so generous?
Let's not forget that the biggest business deals are always settled over a meal. Come on, come on, come on, sit down and join us. Everyone, dig in. This dish looks simple enough, and I did my research, so surely it can't cost all that much. Worst case scenario, this dish had better be worth working overtime all night for. Well, traveler, this is the moment of truth.
Oh, so tired. So sleepy. I just want to eat up and get to bed. Is this foul? Oh, wait. No, the texture is more like shroom boar.
There's a different flavor in every bite. And the discerning palate might detect a hint of something smoked, too. Quite marvelous. How is this made? Ham? But I don't see any ham anywhere. Oh.
Haha! So you've noticed. Yep, every single strip is kneaded from several different kinds of meat. Paimon and Yanxiao put in a lot of effort to make it just right.
So I'm not an expert or anything, but don't different meats have different cooking times? How is everything in this dish cooked to perfection?
Well, you see, that...
Wow! So this dish really is one of a kind. That makes the whole trip worth it. By the way, does this special dish have a name?
Paimon forgot to mention that part. The dish is called Trembling Strings and Rushing Reeds, alluding to the way that the different threads of meat are woven together. And also...
The complex layers of flavor, yes? Akin to the harmonies of a musical ensemble? The name, if I'm not mistaken, is a Liyue idiom that evokes a vigorous orchestral performance featuring both stringed and wind instruments playing together. Quite an apt name for this dish.
How did you know all that?
Every student has to master at least 20 languages before they graduate. Wait, is that not a requirement anymore?
Huh? Oh, that used to be a thing?
Oh, Paimon almost forgot that you're also from Haravatat.
So, anyway, how much does this dish cost?
Oh, don't worry, not too much. That'll be, 30,000 more, please and thank you.
30,000? About that, Paimon, traveler, I merely invited you to join us at the table, did I not? I don't believe I committed to paying for you. So, perhaps we could split the bill accordingly?
Oh, Paimon knew it was too good to be true. Hey, there's no need to... well, it was your hard work anyway. You can call the shots.
20% off of 30,000? That's still a pretty hefty expense. All right. I'll just consider that the cost of learning about this dish. Once I'm back in Sumeru, I'll be sure to find someone to help me recreate the dish. And then I'll make it all back.
I feel so much better now that I've gotten some food in me. Delicious food really does wonders for one's spirit. My advisor said that young people shouldn't stay cooped up in the academia all the time. They told me that I should take the chance to get out and see the stars in other skies. Maybe I can think of it as my first internship experience. But it sure is exhausting.
Now, how should I justify a high price tag for a dish without any fancy ingredients? Maybe start by giving it a fancy-sounding name? I should have known you'd see through me. Everyone was exhausted and seasick when I made the offer last night, so I figured they probably wouldn't be able to eat all that much today. Well, you saw how that turned out. I tried placing some limitations on the order to keep costs under control, but you still found a way around my schemes. That's what I get for not thoroughly researching the market beforehand.
Hey, you're not even paying those too much of a salary. Just treat them fairly next time and don't be so stingy. Well, yeah, but that's why Paimon's qualified to talk about this.
Even though I didn't get to try Adeptus Temptation or Bamboo Shoot Soup, this trembling strings and rushing reeds was still quite impressive. Thank you for making it. Well, about that, even though newfangled contraptions are hardly my cup of tea, Dora's offer was quite enticing. She said that every time we stopped at a new harbor, I'd be free to go and pick out some ancient books at the market and bring them back to Sumeru. I couldn't resist an offer like that. So I offered to join for the lowest possible pay to undercut all my Kasharawar competitors.